Welcome to this Undertale playthrough. To give you a background, I played this game first. This game's like 4.5 years old now, and I played it probably about 3.5 years ago the first time. This is not going to be a blind playthrough. I actually want to talk about some of the themes of this game and how it really. Because here's the thing with this game. Let me just start, because there's a certain point where I'm starting in this game once it pulls up. Sorry, it seems to be loading. And yes, this is come on. There it goes. This is the remastered mod, which means that a lot of the battle sprites will be in color, because normally they're black and white. And there's kind of a thematic reason for them to be in black and white. But, and the remastered mod isn't technically finished yet, so there will be a couple of sprites that you'll see that will switch between color and black and white. Also, I'm actually not starting at the beginning. I will be starting in the beginning in a few minutes. But there's somebody specifically I want to talk about, and you can see them on the screen right now. Actually, just kidding, that's a foot. You can see them on the screen right now. They're also hanging up behind me, and I'm wearing this today. You can kind of see it. There it is. 4 reasons that will hopefully become clear. But I want to start this playthrough, and it will be a pacifist playthrough, but I want to start it with a prologue of my own, which starts here. If I can do it. And the reason for this is because there are some things I want to talk about that will make more sense by seeing the game from here. Which, those of you who play the game, this is the end of the game, but it's the end of a certain route of the game, which I am not going to be streaming the rest of the route. For those of you who haven't seen it, there are not really any spoilers here per se, even though it's the end of the game. What little spoilers there are probably won't make any sense because of lack of context. So, anyway, this is the end of the genocide route. I have murdered everybody else, except for this guy. He's nice. His name is Sans. He's like the only thing people know about Undertale that have never played it. Probably because he made it into Smash Brothers. Anyway, I killed everyone that he ever loved and cared about, so that's something that's happened. And he's still kind of optimistic, but unfortunately, he's also a realist. So, and this is the most famous part of the game, even though it's one that most people never get to. So we're going to see. I'm not an expert at this, but I've gotten pretty consistent with it. So we're going to start with it. Well. So. He's a real nice guy. And he tells me I should be burning in hell. So you know. Real nice. Yep, it's gonna be one of these fights. Anyway. So, like I said, I'm not an expert at this, but, we're gonna do it anyway. So, I may not be talking for a while, because this fight takes a little bit of concentration, but I'll glance over the chat every so often in case anybody decides to pipe in. Also would help if I was ready for that one. Yeah. Like I said, not an expert. Fortunately in this fight, there are certain attacks that only happen once, and those are the ones that I'm the worst at. So, the fight only progresses every time you attack, and then he says a line about the world ending. Because that's kind of what he's afraid afraid of. But if you use healing items, thanks. I'm going to do my best. Like I said, I've been practicing it, and I've gotten pretty consistent at it. We're gonna see if I get any performance anxiety though. Like the healing items are going to be really what make the difference here. And also, I've never done it in front of an audience, so you know, like I said, performance anxiety might be a factor. We'll see. It's the only song anybody knows for this game, and it's only here at the one point that nobody ever gets to, because you have to be crazy just to get here. I got caught on the edge of a platform here. I may have to do this twice. Let's hope not though, because I'm using a lot of healing early on. That's never a good sign. Yeah, little mistakes like that will be okay. And by the way, that's a Deltarune reference before Deltarune existed, so that's nice. Or at least it's implied to be one. I guess it's never been made official. Because that game hasn't finished yet. It's just on Chapter 1. See, after a while he stops doing his really hard ones and starts doing these ones that are a little less hard. He's just mad because he's a video game character. Which is a depressing life. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's got a point. Being a video game character sucks. And he's just like, I'm sick of being a video game character. And I do not blame. You know? You try to be an adventurer, but all you get are arrows in the knee. And then he's just like, you know what, everything sucks, but, or am I just lazy? Oh, if I know. Which is a line that makes me so sad. Because he doesn't even know his own motives. He's like, I'm fighting for everyone I believe in, or maybe I'm just lazy, I don't even know anymore. Which is so super sad. We're still gonna kill him, jerk. And at this point, it's like, I know you're good. And here's the thing. Sans doesn't know me. He doesn't know whether I'm good or bad. He doesn't know why I'm doing this. He thinks I'm just trying to kill everybody just for kicks. But I've got a purpose in mind, Mr. Sans. I'm sorry that you have to suffer in this particular timeline for it. But let's kick him in the face. Or throw a notebook at him, or whatever the heck I'm fighting with. Anyway, now feels like a turning point. Yep, welcome to phase 2. Which I actually thinking is I actually find slightly easier because the attacks. By the way, that anomaly he's talking about is literally me. I should not talk during the attacks. I use my concentration. I think, yes, I do have one more hero. But I think that was my last hero. I don't want to check him! That was dumb. want to check him. That was a waste of a turn. Well, that's a good omen. Yeah, maybe I will use an item then. Because this attack, you can cheese it. All you have to do is hold down all 4 of the arrow keys. I probably would not be nearly as good at this fight if that wasn't the method. But it's kind of a cheese. Anyway, like I said, I'm probably not going to be talking much during this part. Sans, shut up. You don't know me. Stop being so judgy. Thank you, sir. Sir Watts, that is. Oh, I moved. Want to move there. That one I was... Okay, I'll stop talking. Yeah, that was a poor one. Let's go to sleep. Yeah, there'd be no way. I totally biffed on those particular ones. Got a critical hit, not that it matters. See, and then this is why the second phase is easier, because eventually he just keeps doing this one over and over again. And then this one, which also is just gotta look at line of sight. Alright, Sans is getting ready to use his special attack, which means time for pie. If you want to die, it's going to be in about 5 seconds. Almost at full health. I'm 1 point off. Here goes nothing. Alright. Literally the best I've ever done. Fight's over, guys. I mean, it's over-ish. There's still a part that's left of the fight, but everything that's hard about it is over. I still have 10 HP at the end. Thanks, Sheldon. Whew, huff puff indeed. Alright. So, Sans' special attack, it's nothing. Literally. So he's going to talk for a minute and then fall asleep. And I'm going to take a drink real quick. I'm just glad it only took me 1 try, because I've been practicing a little bit because I've been wanting to make this stream for a while, but I wanted to start with this because it's not just because it's cool to be like, hey, I can beat Sans. I actually find the Undying fight more difficult than the Sans fight. But capiche? Catfish? What? No, because I want to talk about the character that everyone kind of misinterprets. At least I have a personal interpretation of the character, and that is, of course, the character that is named on the status bar down there, Chara. Some people say Chara, some people say Chara. I don't know. I say Chara because it's short for character, and it makes sense to say that. You know my type. I guess that's true. That's why I always stayed to the end credits. Anyway. It's because I think I can. Because I can, you have to. See? It sucks to be a video game character. Sans is realizing this. What Sans doesn't realize is that the final boss of the Genocide run here, it's not Sans. It's me. Anyway, so he's trying to use his last tactic, which is psychological manipulation. It's not going to work because I have a reason for doing this beyond I want to see what the end of the Genocide run looks like. Because most people only encounter the character, and I keep saying character and then thinking, hey, it's a pun because her name is Chara, but I just have to move on. Everyone else, and because after this is over, I'm going to do a pacifist route for you guys. And every other character in the pacifist run has a redemption arc. Every single character, at least major character, I mean, not some of the one-off NPCs, is representative of mental health issues, especially depression, and some anxiety, and different ways that people cope with that, and different ways that they can heal from it, or at least, make it better. But the one person who never gets that arc is Chara, because you have to give it to them. And in order to show what I mean, I've got to show you what everybody else thinks of them first. But in order to do that, I've got to kill everyone else. Including this guy. Don't worry, it's just ketchup. Presumably. Well. By the way, I own those shorts with the white stripes and the... Anyway. At least I used to. I'm not sure where they are. Anyway, Papyrus is Sans' brother. I killed him a while ago. But hey, good news. Level 20. I just hit the level cap. So, yeah. That's a feat. You can even look at my stats. Look at that. Experience, 99999. Attack is 38. Defense is 4. Anyway. I've got... The only item I didn't use was the instant noodles. But anyway, let's... I want to talk about... Let's get through this real quick, because this is kind of a spoiler area. If you don't know who this is, that's fine. It doesn't actually matter at this point. Because I'm not going to be talking about this dude yet. Anyway, Flowey the Flower just warned him that I have killed everyone else, and now I'm here. And he's like, howdy! And then he's confused. Well, we can always... He's like, oh, okay, you're brandishing that notebook. 'Cause that's the weapon that I get. I have currently equipped. Anyway, let's murder him. That sounds fun. But we don't actually kill him. That wasn't me. Or, you know, in-game, I mean. See, this is old Flowey who's like, kill and be killed. And this is where the sprite glitches out because they didn't prioritize the genocide sprites. Anyway. Flowey really doesn't want to die, but taught us to kill or be killed. So unfortunately, the only option, the learners become the master. So goodbye. It's his own philosophy. I keep looking at the screen but I move my webcam, so I'm like, Anyway, this is Chara. They don't actually have a gender in game, but I'll probably keep saying she because it looks kind of female. I don't know. So here's the thing. I've already beat the game once with the genocide route, and so Chara here is going to have, first of all, creepy music. Just ignore that. But slightly different dialogue than you may have seen if you've seen this before. Calls herself a demon. And you're supposed to be like, oh no, this horrible demon who's really the one who killed everyone, when Chara didn't kill anybody. Well, arguably, you killed everybody. But everyone blames it on Chara. And that's why Chara gets a bad rap. Because you turn her into this. With our help, we will eradicate the enemy and become stronger. Because that's what video games are, right? You know, you kill the enemy, you level up. That's the point, right? I think it is. Of most games. This one included, if you play it this way. Raise your HP, raise all those stats. Video game, well, RPG specifically. I mean, probably not so much in, like, Free Cell. Every time you're like, yeah, I grinded enough guards to level up. That's the spirit of whatever was created here. And pen and paper, too. Yeah. You like leveling up, but how do you get it? Well, in pen and paper, there are other ways to level up, too. Other than killing. Sorry, there was dust in my webcam, and now I just realized that Wow, that is dark. Wow, my lighting setup is garbage. I apologize. I didn't have enough time to test it. So I could either be, like, side-lit like this, or just dark. I'm going to be dark for now. Anyway. Depends on the GM. That's true. There are killer GMs out there. But here's the thing with Chara here. This is what I thought was so interesting on my second time through this. Because the dialogue's a little different from this point on. Because this person that was created, or at least their purpose is to kill everything, and level up. Even them, there is a difference. Because the first time you kill it, she like destroys the world, and then you have to like reset the game. And then if you destroy it again, they're like, didn't we play this game already? But there's a reason we keep coming back to the world of Undertale. And this is the phrase I want to focus on. You were racked with a perverted sentimentality. Why would I have a perverted sentimentality for the world of Undertale, you might ask yourself. And I love the fact that the webcam is like right next to chat now, because now I feel like I'm actually looking at you when I look at the chat. So don't think I'm just creepily staring at the camera a lot. That's where the chat window is too. Anyway, perverted sentimentality for this particular world. Now, Chara doesn't get it. Keep in mind, this says anymore as well. It's not like I can't understand these feelings. I've never been able to understand them. I cannot understand these feelings anymore. Keep that in mind. We'll talk about that in a second. Despite this, Chara's like, you know, I may be currently the culmination and epitome of gamer grinding and leveling up and killing things to become stronger. You know, that may be who my identity is right now. But, you know, ease up on the genocide a little bit here. Another path would be better suited. I'm the personification of killing, and even I think you're crazy. Basically is what they just said. Anyway. But it's okay, because we're partners. We're cool. We like playing games together and killing everything in them. We're partners. We're buds. We're friends. So, since everybody's dead in this world, let's just get rid of it. Let's erase it. I'm a great partner. Creepy eyes and... Now, it doesn't show up quite correctly in the stream window, but it just went to Windows mode and was shaking. So that's the end. Make sure to like my page, and no, I'm just kidding. We are going to go back in because I wanted to have that prologue. Because when people think of Chara, they think of that. They think of everybody's dead, the sad thing, you even killed Sans, everybody likes Sans. And for some reason the game is not refreshing. Wait for it. Okay, there we go. But that's not all that Chara is. That's what Chara turns into if you kill everybody. But I want to title or subtitle this playthrough The Redemption of Chara, because this is a character who gets a lot of hate out in the fandom, and people who don't really understand the themes of this game are really hard on this character. For reasons that will become clear. Half of them already are. But this game is about redemption. This game is about finding peace with your past mistakes. Living in a world that sucks, but it's getting better. And everybody in the end will be in a better spot. Except for two. Arguably just one. So we're going to start again. The reason I'm going to name her Chara is because it says it's the true name. So you can name him anything you want, really, but that's the one we're going with because it's the true name. There's a couple things I want to point out right at the beginning. The game just abruptly starts here on this patch of flowers. You later learn this patch of flowers is Chara's grave site. Because Chara is not this person here with a blue and purple stripy shirt. That's not Chara. That's somebody else. But I'm pressing buttons. I guess I can look at my stats, which is nothing important. But like, I'm hitting check buttons and nothing's happening. That's important because I'm not going to read all these lines. You can read them yourself. Because we go in here and we talk to Flowey. And, you care about it? Isn't that a... I think, I think that's a Carmen Sandiego villain, isn't it? Like from the game? I swear that sounds like what it's from. I'm going to say it's a Carmen Sandiego villain. It might not be. I might just be... No, it's not. It's a strong bad thing. It was like one of his pseudonyms in the email where he pretends to be a female, like, advice columnist. That's the one. You got it, Sheldon. Care about it. That's the one. Yeah, you both got it. So hopefully you won't be making that thinking that from the whole thing. Okay, so I want to draw your attention to a couple things during this Flowey fight, which isn't really a fight. You'll see my status bar down there. It doesn't have a name next to it. It just says level 1 HP 2020. Or LV1. Because LV doesn't stand for level, it stands for love. You want some love, don't you? Don't worry, I'll share some with you, which is creepy as heck. Of course, everything about Flowey is creepy. Anyway, these are friendliness pellets. As you saw at the end of that other route, they are actually deadly. So we're just going to run into them so that Flowey gets a scary face. And calls us an idiot. And gives us the philosophy that ended with their death, not 15 minutes ago. So, hoist by your own petard in that other timeline, I'm afraid. I just realized I don't have my water in here. Oh well. I might have to go grab that in a minute. Alright. This is Toriel. She is the caretaker of the ruins, the tutorial, if you will. And I want to talk about her in 1 minute. Because there's something I've got to do first, which is actually go back to the beginning area. This game is super meta. That's kind of partly why I wanted to talk about it. So now when I hit the flowers, it actually has a check. Now this is the beginning of what I'd like to call the narrator theory, which is never explicitly said, but fairly strongly alluded to. It says golden flowers, they they must have broken your fall. So the narrator doesn't know that they broke your fall. They're like, that's probably what happened. Also, before we didn't have a narrator on this screen. And the next time we get, I'll just say now, the next time we get into a battle, it will say Chara now at the bottom. Level 1, HP, whatever. So that's the beginning, and there's a lot more evidence for this, but that's the beginning of the theory that even though you named Chara, who is not this person, and I keep circling it like you can see it, Chara's the narrator, is the theory. All the white text you see that isn't obviously somebody speaking is Chara saying stuff. Kind of and the theory is kind of that you since you landed on their grave, their kind of soul, spirit, whatever you want to call it, kind of latched onto you. And that's the crux of the Chara redemption arc that I want to talk about. So all the major characters in this game are basically suffering from trauma. And with this cutesy little happy tune and this goat mom doing all these puzzles for you, explaining the world. They're super nice. Turn down the music a bit. Okay. Let's go about there. All right, tell me if that's a good level. And this is kind of a, you know, the tutorial, it's so funny because it's a parody of actual tutorials. And also, thanks for downloading the remastered bot. A bit more. Alright. Yeah, tell me if that one's good now. Because it's like, here's how you solve puzzles in this game, but it's so obviously labeled, like, and she's like, no, don't hit the wrong switch. Hit the right switch. It's been labeled and everything. All right, keep me updated if the level is bad or not. She's like, and so she is giving the tutorial, but she's so nervous that you'll fail it that she like makes it impossible to fail the tutorial. Which is a funny concept and kind of a funny character. But like everything in this game, there's a depth behind it. And you can do a lot of stuff to this dummy. You can either, slash it in the face, or you can just check it. And keep in mind, like I said, all the narration, including the check text, according to this theory, and it's the one I'm going to go with, is that Chara's the one saying, a cotton heart and a button eye, you are the apple of my eye. That's kind of fun. Makes up a goofy rhyme, and then, like, dummy looks like it's going to fall over. Thanks, Chara. Let's talk to it. It doesn't seem much for conversation. But Toriel seems happy with you. Anyway, we didn't get any XP for that. Since it's the pacifist route, we won't be getting any XP. Or EXP. And she's like, I wonder if you could solve the other puzzle in this room. What? You were walking so slow. Anyway, this is the first actual fight where Frogget appears. We can check him out. Life is difficult for this enemies. Even like the one-off enemies are just not doing well. Also, they're super sheepish and kind of cute. But everybody's got issues in this game. The Western Room's the Eastern Room's blueprint. So obviously, since the Western Room had this pattern on the floor, that's going to play into the Eastern Room's puzzle solving, right? Right, everybody? This is the puzzle. But she doesn't even trust you enough to make it through that. So now you're like, okay, I see where this is going. It's kind of the overprotective mom type. It's kind of making fun of it. Now you get a participation trophy. You know, that kind of trope. Puzzles seem dangerous, except then she leaves and you can just, and the spikes don't actually hurt, they just block you. However, so she's the type of person who doesn't even trust you to do the simplest of puzzles. And then the one that she's like, oh my gosh, are you going to make it? Is one where you literally walk to the right with this scary music for about 10 minutes. Greetings! Do not worry, I did not leave you. And keep in mind, she says, like, greetings as her opener. A video game where they walk to the right, like every other one, correct? Chara also said greetings when we saw her. So, that's meaningful. Anyway. I was merely behind the pillar this whole time. To test your independence for walking to the right. You must stay alone for a while. Please remain here. It's dangerous to explore by yourself. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this, a cell phone. Not quite a sword, but it's okay. Anyway, so she gives you a cell phone, which is fun. You can say hello, and there's a lot of hilarious dialogue I'll probably be skipping. If you want to see it all, go buy the game. But some of it's just funny. Some of it I might do, like flirt with her. And she's like, I could pinch your cheek. You can certainly find better than an old woman like me. But then you can call her mom and it's super awkward. I suppose. That make you happy to call me mother? Call me whatever you'd like. which is adorable. So, I spoiled a little bit by saying those flowers were Chara's grave, because you start to get the picture now of this mother character who's clearly very concerned about your safety to the point of overprotectiveness, who uses the same greetings as the person who we know is dead. It's called foreshadowing, kids. Anyway, you can take actually 3 candies, but then Chara starts passing judgment on you. How disgusting. I feel like the scum of the earth for taking so many candies. You took too much. Look what you've done. Anyway. The reason I also point out the Chara narrator theory is because it gives her an actual, no pun intended, character. Here's Frogget again. You check him out, he's kind of his life's still difficult for him. It doesn't seem to know why it's here, because everyone in this game is depressed, and our purpose in the Pacifist route is to make life better. He didn't understand what you said, but was flattered anyway. And I mean, it's obviously super simplistic in the Froggets. They're just like, I don't know what's going on. You're like, you're a nice frog, and they're like, okay, I don't want to fight you anymore. But as I was saying, the narration gives Chara a measure of personality, which goes towards the redemption. Which do you like, cinnamon or butterscotch? I'm actually going to leave this up to you guys. I'm going to actually run and grab my water. It'll take me about 15 seconds. Tell me whether you like better cinnamon or butterscotch. I'll be right back. Okay, we got a vote for butterscotch, so that's what we're going with, which is also my choice, because cinnamon pie, I mean, is cinnamon like in a pie, like apple cinnamon? But not just cinnamon. Anyway, B-scotch, as they call it in the hood. And then she's like, uh-oh, I already made a cinnamon pie. She's so nervous about impressing you. And I think that's great. I mean, I think it's great from a character standpoint. I think it's kind of 3 out of 4 gray rocks recommend you push them. Thank you. Here's another Frogget. We've already been through Frogget's thing, so I have very little to say about Frogget at this point. Except the fact that I just keep sparing him. But there are some other enemies that are also depressed. Because this game is about dealing with mental illness. It's what it is. Here's Whimsun. Whimsun is already ready to be spared. You can see because their name is yellow. You don't have to do anything to him. Frogget, a video game. Frogger, but yeah, close enough. So Whimsun is like a moth that's super sorry. They don't even really attack you much. I got hit by a Frogget fly, but not the Whimsun one. And anyway, there'll eventually be a fight with one of those by itself, I'm sure. Here's a little thing that you may not know. You don't actually have to push those other rocks, because this is the rock, this is the fourth rock that does not recommend that you push it. Just for you, pumpkin. I guess maybe this rock isn't suffering from depression, so I guess not every character in the game. Because this rock is just kind of a jerk. Because... Whoop! Hold on. Let's rush through this real quick. Ah! I can beat the Sans fight, but dang it, I'm getting hit by the frogget. Anyway. And then you get mad at the rock for making the spikes happen. You don't actually have to push those other two. They're just there for aesthetics. Anyway, here's your save point. This one's this guy's Napstablook. Here comes Napstablook, who has some of the best music in the game. Everybody knows Megalovania from this game, but there's some really good music other than that. So anyway, Napstablook doesn't seem to have a sense of humor. Now keep this in mind. My chat has scrolled off. There we go. Yeah, it looks like he goes from Pac-Man, number one. Also, his music like super jazzy, and I love it. Keep in mind, this is the check. This is the check text, which, according to our theory, is coming from Chara, who may or may not be a ghost or something. And if Napstablook's a ghost, oh, I'm real funny. Which implies that Napstablook heard the check text, which is another point in favor of that. Yeah, it sounds like cantina music. Napstablook is wishing they weren't here. That's so sad. Let's cheer for him. That was more of a smile than a cheer. He's so depressed that he can't even attack us. But we cheered for him, so he's looking better. Here's a little joke. Han shot first. But now his attacks are easier to avoid than they were earlier. When he was like, oh, I'm real funny. Let's try flirting with him just for kicks. Aw, he just weighs down. Ah! Cheering is really the right option here, because now he shows us something. It's Dapperblook. It's a top hat on a Pac-Man ghost that's super depressed. This is Undertale. Let's cheer for Dapperblook. Everybody, hooray for Dapperblook. He usually comes here because there's nobody around. But we were nice. I'm rambling again. I'll get out of your way. We're nice guys. That's the game in a nutshell. Is you find people who are suffering and you're nice to them. Also, I just got a spider donut at the spider bake sale. All proceeds go to real spiders. And if we look at our spider donut, it's a donut made with spider cider. We're gonna want to hang on to that spider donut. Spider bake sale. Come eat food made by spiders, for spiders, of spiders. These froggets just give you tips. What does F4 stand for? 4 frogs? Now it's funny because there's clearly only 2 frogs in this room. There's a third frog along the wall. There's an ant-sized frog. That's what spiders eat. And I guess, oh, that's not a frog. That's a Vegetoid. So now we're going Super Mario 2. Spiders do eat other spiders. That's why they're Black Widows and so on. Anyway, I want dinner from you. Eat your greens. This is a battle tactic that green, if you see green stuff in battle, it increases your health. There is a 4th frog that shows up If you don't know how to skip text boxes, which I do, is you hit X, and then he tells you how to skip text boxes. But since I've already been doing it, he just doesn't show up. Here's kind of a fun little Easter egg as well. If you say that it's bad that monster names turn yellow when you can spare them, and then you're like, oh no, how do I know how to spare enemies? And you're like, bring them back. It's rather inconvenient to change your mind like this. Since I told everyone not to use yellow names, they threw theirs out. So now they'll have pink names. They're in the closet. So now in battles, instead of having yellow text to spare, they'll have pink. That's a fun little Easter egg for y'all. Anyway, Toriel's calling us, and she's worried because her house is a garbage heap. Do not carry more than you need. Some days... So she's complaining about her empty house, but still being the tutorial. Basically saying that you've only got 8 slots in your inventory. There's just one switch, and it's down this hole. Oh, what is it now? This is Luke's. This is... you don't pick on him because his family name is Eyewalker. Get it? Luke's Eyewalker. Sentient nebulae! Anyway. He doesn't want you to pick on him. So, let's not pick on him. Finally, someone gets it! I've had friends, nobody in the chat at the moment, that, you tell them not to pick on you and they just double down on it. So, thanks, Luke's, for teaching us a valuable lesson. Luke's Eyewalker. That was him rising to the challenge. Anyway. So this is probably the hardest puzzle in the ruins, which is the switches kind of get hidden. And so, you know, the blue switch is behind this pillar. Of course, there's a thing. It's a pair of Luke's Eyewalkers. They are picking on us. We have to attack them differently. And I don't mean literally attack them. I mean deal with their issues. Oh, did I actually hit the... Okay, I did. Well, I mean, now I have. So I was trying to get my nephew to play this a few months back. He's currently 9. Well, actually, he's currently 10, but he was 9 at the time. He's barely 10, like a week and a half ago. Smells like eye drops. Also, keep in mind that a lot of that text is like things are smelling. I don't know what that implies. Like, smells like a thing. Like, that seems to be the text that happens a lot. Anyway, he was playing this, and he got so frustrated with the ruins. Because every 5 seconds was another battle. It was kind of funny. See, Moldspall's already ready to be spared. If you check Migasp, it seems evil, but it's just with the wrong crowd. Filthy single-minder! But if we spare Moldspall, he just wants to be alone, and now he's happy. That's certainly depressing. Not necessarily depressing. In unison now. He just wants to be alone. Everyone does want alone time. Some of the time. I keep forgetting what color I'm supposed to be pressing. Red switch, thank you. Because I keep doing battles. So anyway, so he kept getting sick of these battles, and he's just like, I want to play Mario, and so I convinced him to just start killing people. Just like, they won't come back if you kill enough of them, and he was so excited. Then he stopped playing because he wanted to play Mario, but I was like, I was so happy that I kind of shoulder deviled him into locking himself out of the pacifist route. I just thought it was funny. Anyway, I'm a terrible person. Let's see. Green switch was behind the middle one. I mean, to be fair, this is like the most. Oops. I think this is the most the highest encounter rate is in these puzzle rooms. Still some great music though. And is it too loud? Sheldon, have you played through Undertale? Like, is this your first exposure to it ever? Because I know that Watts, who's may or may not still be watching. I can't see the Facebook viewer count. Anyway, Toriel came out of here with some groceries. And I know he's at least seen it play before. You've read the synopsis, okay. Because I didn't want to necessarily give you any spoilers if you don't want any, but at the same time, I've probably been giving a lot of spoilers because I'm talking about the whole Chara theory. Anyway, I've now equipped a toy knife. Which now I've got a stick, because that was what you start with, is the stick. Its bark is worse than its bite, which gives you a hint on you can actually use that stick as an item in certain battles. And now Toriel's all worried about us. She's like, oh no! And she has slightly different dialogue if you haven't been hurt. And now she's beating herself up for leaving you alone, even though you were fine. Fair enough, fair enough. So one reason I wanted to do this is the first time I did it was blind, and this time I've got a lot more I want to talk about with it. Sorry. Anyway, so Toriel here. We've made it home. Surprise! It's a butterscotch cinnamon pie, so no matter what you pick, your pie's got both things. If you remember from the Sans fight, I ate a piece of pie in that. Now you know where I got it. We'll hold off on snail pie. Ew. And look, she's already made a room for us. Isn't that nice? And now it gets creepy. So Sheldon, if you haven't played this before, what's your impression of Toriel so far? I'm curious to think from a character standpoint. And while you're saying something or not, here's a box of kids' shoes. You turn the light on and off. Now, why is there a box of kids' shoes in a disparity of sizes in this place that clearly has one bed and no other children? An empty photo frame. Look at these cool toys. They don't interest you at all. That's okay. That's okay. There's not like a right answer. I was just wondering what your impression was. She's interesting because she's like trying to be like this loving mom and very overprotective, but at the same time, you're just some kid. Hey, Tim. Tim, you've made it. It is a fun. See, that's the thing. Undertale's got so many layers. And part of the layer, and the most obvious one, I think, is the funny meta joke, which is that it's this tutorial, but they're so overprotective that they're doing the stuff for you, which I think is a great joke. but there's kind of the deeper mental health angle that I want to talk about tonight, and that is that she's undergone clearly some loss. She's got a kid's room despite having no obvious kids. A room that, by the way, has a box of toys that the narrator thinks are really cool, but the kid here actually doesn't care about, which is further proof that the narrator is a specific personality that is not this kid. Anyway. This is a plant. We do not know what its name is. But if we go into Toriel's room, let's read her diary. That sounds like a great idea. Hey, guys, why did the skeleton want a friend? Because she was feeling bonely. I'm sorry. That just kind of came out. That was not intentional. Anyway, sorry. I just wasn't. Anyway, Toriel likes terrible puns. If we look up subterranean plants, we learn about Typha, a group of wetland flowering plants with brown oblong seed pods, known more commonly as water sausages. So that's nice. And of course, the cactus, truly the most tsundere of plant. I don't know how to say that word. I've seen it written. It's the, oh my gosh. Sorry, my key light is garbage. I need to switch the lights, but I didn't have time to do it tonight. And it just keeps going out. That was weird. Truly the most tsundere of plants. I don't know actually how to say that, but... Yes, I do remember the album. I don't remember... I mean, it was like the one where the guy was being hypnotized or whatever. And, like, it was kind of an Assassin's Creed type of thing. In the sense that it was a guy being, like, living a... Oh, so a different one. I love that you're on Twitch, and our lag is way less than the guys on Facebook. You had me listen to a bunch of albums. I don't remember that one specifically. Anyway, while you're telling me about that, I just want to point out that now the narrator knows it is a water sausage. The narrator learned at the same time we did. Six degrees. Yes, I do remember. And wasn't that the one that had like all the different time signatures too? Anyway, it's you. Ding. That room is closed. So anyway, so Toriel represents someone who's been through a great deal of loss and does not want to lose anyone else, and so they're so overprotective, to the point where the idea of protecting a child is more important than valuing what that child needs or wants, and that will make more sense in just a minute. Actually, before I Octavarium. Dang it. I don't remember all of your albums. I'm sorry. I remember they were really good, but that was like 6 or 7 years ago now, so it's been a while. Anyway, if you actually do go to bed, then you get a piece of pie, and I had just forgotten to do that. Also, well, you got healed earlier, so never mind. See, and now it's got it sliced. The size of the pie intimidates you too much to eat it. So one of the conceits of this game is that monsters use magic, and in fact, the entire battle system... Okay. Mother losing a child. Yeah. It's a powerful theme. I mean, I'm not a parent and I've never lost a child, but there's also a brand name chocolate bar in the fridge. We don't say which one because Undertale was not sponsored by any sort of brands. Maybe Nintendo, they could get a Nintendo sponsor now, since the Sans outfit is in Super Smash Brothers. I want you to know how glad I am to have someone here. See? She wants to show us our favorite bug hunting spot. A curriculum for your education. And you're like, lady, I've known you for 10 minutes. I've always wanted to be a teacher. Still. So, if you're like, so you're creeping me out, when can I go home? This is your home now. And so which is like super uber creepy, but at the same time, she's so unassuming and nice that you're like, it's not malevolent, but it's not right. Would you like to hear about this book I'm reading? It's called 72 Uses for Snails. I just want to hear what she says. Here's our exciting snail fact. Did you know that snails talk really slowly? Just kidding, snails don't talk. Anyway, how do we leave? So if we go down the stairs, the one place we haven't been yet. A one-way exit to the rest of the underground. And the end of the demo. If you play the Undertale demo, it's just this part of the game. She is going to destroy it. Yeah. So even good people, when they're going through trauma, can do some really kind of screwed up things. Every human that falls down here meets the same fate. Keep in mind, there was a box of kids' shoes in that room. All different sizes. And my light's turned off again. This stupid light. I need to plug it in or something. It runs on USB, but it's running on battery right now. Whatever, that light's just going to die. They come, they leave, they die. If you leave the ruins, Asgore. This is the first we've heard of Asgore in this playthrough. But if you were watching from the beginning of the stream, he was the guy that looked like a goat that we just killed immediately. He seemed nice. He said, howdy. Yeah, this game is kind of Zelda-y in the sense that it's very cute and then surprisingly creepy. So anyway. So I didn't mention this, and I don't think I talked to the person who says this, but there's two ways to spare enemies in this game. One of them is you can do a some sort of action, like, you know, complimenting the frog or the Pac-Man ghost or whatever, naps to blook, and then until they don't want to fight you anymore, then you can spare them. The other way, and it's a little trickier, is to actually fight them until their HP is low, and then you can spare them. It has the same effect if you don't want to figure out what act option you need to do. I say that because keep that in mind for after this fight, because I'll explain why I wanted to point that out. There's only one solution to this, because Toriel here says the only way you're going to leave is if you prove that you're strong enough to survive. And you think, because there's no action you can take in this fight, and I'll show you. All you can do is talk and check. And talking does nothing. I'll show that off in a second. She knows best for us. She's the narrator's treating her like a mom. Anyway. So now she's trying to kill us. If we try to talk, we couldn't think of any conversation topics. And so you would think that the only way to prove that you're strong enough to her is fight her until her health is low, and then spare her then. But they programmed in something. I'm not going to show it off. I'm just going to try to spare her, but it doesn't do anything. Except for give her us another attack. If you try to do that, then suddenly when she gets close to her health, she immediately just dies. The game kind of throws that on you, and that's nice. So there's a different way to win this battle. Nope. And most people, if that happens to them, they're like, "Oh crap! I didn't mean to kill her," and then they usually just kind of restart from their last save point. And then they do this, which is if you wait long enough, and you'll notice that I'm like almost dead, but I'm not using any healing items. I got all that candy and stuff, but I'm not using any of it because Toriel's like, "What are you doing?" If you get hurt down to 2 hit points, she's like, "Attack or run away." And if you run away, then the battle just ends. Now she's not trying to kill us. She doesn't actually want to kill us. She just wants to scare us so badly that we don't want to leave. That's not healthy. Is it? So just letting that breathe for a minute. This track is called Heartache. And finally, after you just won't leave, you're determined to stand here and look at her with puppy dog eyes. Even the narrator can't say anything anymore. Even Kara's at a loss for words. But you're gonna leave. You can't stay with her. So she finally realizes it. Just because you don't put up with the crap, but you don't fight her either. You stand your ground, but you don't fight. And that helps her realize the truth. She puts aside her own loneliness and her fear because she knows what's best for you. You just have to make her remember it. Hurts her so much to do it that she can't see you anymore. Not only is she a tutorial for the game mechanics, but also for the game's themes. I really like this game, guys. I think it's great. Anyway, as we walk through this long hallway of purple, we run into this guy again. So here's the thing. I want to talk about Flowey for a second now. Because he was at the beginning and he presented his philosophy. Kill or be killed. And then he got, knocked out by a fireball. But if you accidentally kill Toriel, I guess, and then, reload the save and then, spare her like that, Flowey knows. He's like, I know what you did. You restored your save file. You try to wipe out your sin or something. I don't remember exactly what he says, but it's something like that. Keep that in mind, too. Flowey can tell if you've ever, restarted the game or reloaded a save. But since we didn't do that, he doesn't know that. So he's just like, so clever. In this world, it's kill or be killed. So you're able to play by your own rules. You spared one person. But Flowey's he's taking none of that. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you reset. Pretty much. Flowey is super creepy. It's okay. We already murdered him in a different timeline, so he gets what's coming to him. You didn't kill anybody this time. But what will you do if you meet a relentless killer? You'll die and you'll die and you'll die. Until you tire of trying. See, this is why I say Flowey was hoisted by his own petard. Because this is the philosophy he's giving us. And then we apply it to him at the end of that route. And he's like, oh, oops. Will you kill out of frustration? Like my nephew? Or will you give up entirely on this world? Like my nephew? Because then Flowey apparently has the power to control it. Because if you stop playing, it's implied that Flowey then, is the, don't worry, my little monarch. My plan isn't regicide. This is so much more interesting. Yeah. So Flowey doesn't really want to kill you. He just wants to see what happens. He's just like, yeah, okay. Remastered mod. Anyway, I guess that was the reverse reverb. I think it's a reverse symbol.